In the previous lecture, we have seen the explanation of this third sum based on PDA. Previously, we have constructed PDA for a raised to n, b raised to n is greater than 0. And then second sum we have seen is a variation of previous sum, equal number of a's and b's. How it is varying? There is no compulsion of B appearing after A. A string can also start with B. If you say the format is equal number of A's and B's. A raised to n, B raised to n means B must appear after all A's are written. So the third sum, which will be using the logic of previous two, is this one. You will start the designing with the listing of valid strings, which are also called as the strings accepted, and non-valid strings. We have done the analysis of the stack positions for n equal to 1. In case n ka value is 1, you will get W, that is valid string, equal to ABCD. You start with the stack in the initialized position, so it will have Z0 as top of the stack. This is the input tape, which is infinite in length. You won't have anything on stack previously, only stack initialization Z0. You assume that initial state is Q0, and in Q0 you have encountered A, whereas top of the stack is Z0. What is the logic? That for pair AB, there should exist a pair CD. So for this A, nothing is done regarding the stack operation. You simply move to next cell. Your aim is to encounter B after this A. So as soon as B is encountered, it means AB pair exists. So for one AB pair, you add X to the stack. Now next is third cell. You find C as the cell content. You don't need to perform any of the action regarding stack operation. Stack will remain in the same position as that of previous. Previously, it is containing X and Z0. Same is the content, because after C you are interested in checking whether D appears. You want CD as in pair and not single C. So for this C, no action is performed. Move to next cell. As soon as you encounter D, it means that CD pair is found. So if such pair is found and already you have X as top of the stack content, for this CD, this X can be deleted. It means previously you have encountered a pair AB. So here you will be adding epsilon. Pop X means add epsilon instead of X. Now you go to next cell. You find that there is a empty. Let us copy this and you find that there is the empty cell. Empty cell will always contain epsilon symbol. That's the way to denote empty cell. So here you consider input symbol to be epsilon. So now the symbol you are processing is epsilon. Top of the stack is reversed. Top of the stack is Z0, that is stack is empty and there are no input symbol because you have encountered blank cell. So this will be the accepting condition. Now you may feel that there can be multiple AB pairs and multiple CD pairs. So what in that case? So next visualization we are considering for the same that there are two AB pairs and two CD pairs. So for first A, nothing is performed regarding stack operation. As soon as you find B followed by A, it means one AB pair is encountered. So one X is added as top of the stack. Then you move to next input symbol. Next May you are finding A. Again for this A, no action is performed. For this A, no action is performed. So stack position is same as that of previous. Next input symbol to be processed is B. So while drawing the PDA, you will be having a dedicated path for this AB. So if you encounter this B immediately after A, this B will always correspond to this AB pair ka B. So for this pair, you are adding one more X to top of the stack. Next symbol is C. You are not interested in single C. You want CD as in pair. So for this C, nothing is performed. Again, we will have a dedicated path for this CD pair. So check the symbol next to C. If it is D, it means that CD as a pair is encountered. So for this CD pair encountered, one X from the top of the stack will be deleted. So it is like striking of this AB pair for each CD pair encountered. Process next symbol. It is C. No action to be performed for A as well as C. They are significant only if A is followed by B and C is followed by D. So nothing is done to stack. It remains as it is. Check whether next is D, next is D, and if top of the stack is X, the epsilon you don't have to visualize. By now you should be clear in your mind that epsilon means nothing, empty, as good as empty. So top of the stack will be X. So as soon as you encountered one more CD pair, you check whether AB is already encountered. So its existence means X is there. So X is top of the stack, so delete it by placing epsilon. So for two pairs of AB, two pairs of CD are being encountered. So next symbol to be processed is epsilon, cell is empty as well as stack is also empty. Means equal number of AB pair and CD pair are there. So this is accepting condition. Now while analyzing these with this stack operation, we found that we need to have dedicated paths for AB and then for CD. So let me share the Excel sheet. To draw. I hope this Excel sheet is visible, and how we will be drawing it. We will have this sheet. Q0, and then you say that there is a dedicated path one is for A and other is for B likewise. So as we have seen the designing of I hope this thing is visible, arrow का direction is visible. This is for B. Now in between this AB, whether CD can appear, that won't be valid. Right? So this is your n number of AB का dedicated path. Then as soon as you encounter C in Q1 state, what should be done? Change the state. This is how you will draw E, and then you need to have a dedicated path for CD. So let us consider this is C3, wherein this is for D and then this is for C. So if you have encountered, यहाँ पे अटैच करना चाहिए था हमने, after B you will encounter C and D. This is your D, this is your C, right? This is your Q2, this is your Q3. यहाँ पे end हो रहा है ना B. So A B के बाद this will be your C D. Now if there are two AB pairs, it will traverse like A B A B. Then C D C D. It won't go upwards because there is no arrow. Right? 3 times AB, 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 AB. 3 times CD, CD 1, CD 2, CD 3. Now here you need to add the actions which you are performing. For A, top of the stack can be Z0. What action you are doing? You are keeping as Z0. No action to be performed for A. Then you encounter B. Stack is still Z0. What action you are performing? You are adding one X for AB pair. So stack will now have X and Z0. So next time second AB pair is encountered, for second AB pair, A is the symbol to be processed, but top of the stack is X and not Z0. What action you will perform? Let it be X, don't do anything. So it is represented likewise. Whereas for second B of the second AB pair, B is input symbol to be processed. X is top of the stack. You add one more X to stack. So it becomes double X. I hope this is understood. Now, as soon as you encounter C after single AB or double AB pairs, what action you need to perform for C? C is the input symbol to be processed. Top of the stack is X. You perform no action, you let it be X. But for this D, as soon as you find D followed by C and top of the stack is X, you delete it. Means यहाँ पे you need to insert epsilon symbol. Then you encounter next C. When you encounter next C, top of the stack can be Z0. Nothing is there. Only one AB pair and one CD pair is there. So what you do? You perform no action anyways for C. But at the same time, top of the stack can also be X corresponding to second AB pair. Still you perform no action, you let it be X. But for this corresponding D, each time X is there as top of the stack, you delete it. I hope the logic is understood. Right. And then when there is no more, कहाँ पे होगा accepting state आपका? Whether it will be here Q4. Try to visualize. I hope the Word file is visible. Whether I have shared the window or क्या share किया है? Someone please tell whether both the files are visible if I am switching. Screen share किया है या window share किया है? I hope I have shared screen only. So यहाँ पे after D you are encountering epsilon. Right, after D you will encounter epsilon. So after D D is ending in Q3. Now if you encounter epsilon and stack is in initialized condition, let it be in initialized condition, you go to Q4, which will be your final state. So this will be the PDA. यहाँ पे ये A, B, C, D you don't need to write. ये आपको remove करना है. This is just for sake of understanding purpose we have written. So likewise should be your PDA. So this is what we have designed. Right. So the solution consists of, for this sum, listing of valid strings for different values of n, listing of non-valid strings, such type of visualization, and then bulleted descriptive logic you are going to use. What logic you are using? For A, perform no action. For immediate B followed by A, add 1x, representing AB pair to this stack. For every C, perform no action. For every D followed by C, delete 1x for CD pair together. And then accepting condition explicitly you should write that in next input symbol to be processed is epsilon. Stack is in initialized condition. So let it be in initialized condition and you can accept the string. It means that for every pair of AB you are striking off one CD pair, or for every CD pair encountered you are striking out one X which is representing AB pair. And after that, after listing out logic, you will draw PDA likewise. Again, try to think about the logic for fourth sum. Design PDA accepting BDB raised to n, bracket raised to n, C raised to n. Take a minute, try to analyze. The mics are provided to you now. In case you have doubt related to previous sum, you should ask. The mics are provided. Try to analyze this sum which is visible on screen. Example 4. Mics are provided. In case you have doubt, you should ask. Try to draw. If it is possible for you, you can directly draw the PDA. But in examination, drawing only the transition diagram is not sufficient. You need to explain and write how you arrived to that drawing of transition diagram. Transition diagram will carry 50% of the marks. Explanation and all analysis part 50% of the marks. Mics are provided. In case of any doubt, you should ask. So you will start the solution with the listing of valid strings. Likewise, for different values of n. So W is BDBC if n is 1. So this bracket के अंदर का substring is repeated only once, C is repeated only once. If n is 2, repeat this bracket के contents BDB twice, C also twice. And whatever epsilon you are finding, that is the next input symbol to be processed. It's a blank cell. So blank cell is denoted by epsilon in case of PDA. Blank cell. If n is 3, repeat BDB thrice. C also thrice. What are invalid strings? Only B, only C, only D. Strings starting with C, invalid. Now consider n is 2, BDB appearing twice and CC appearing twice. So what will be stack visualization when you process each and every character one by one? So you start in Q0, input symbol is B and stack contains what should be the logic. Now you are familiar with the logic of three sums, and from there you have found that for the previous sum AB raised to n, CD bracket raised to n, you need to form the dedicated paths for AB pair. Now here you have TBD. So what you will do, for the first B encountered, you perform no action related to stack operation. You are not interested in single B. For D, no action. You are not interested in D. And next B, third B of BDB. By this, you are sure that you have encountered BDB as in pair. So add 1x to top of this stack. B is encountered, perform no action, stack remains same. D is encountered, not interested in single D, perform no action, but you are interested in this sequence के B के बाद D आ रहा है, next operation B. So by this time you are sure that BD has already encountered, and in next sequence sequentially B is there. So you, by this point you are sure that BDB pair is encountered. So add X. See, nothing is visible, as in top view is not there. Currently only B will be visible. So till this point you have encountered two pairs of BDB, and for that 2x are the contents of stack along with Z0 stack initialization. What our logic says, for every single BDB pair and C encountered as the next symbol, that BDB pair should be striped off. Now this BDB pair is represented by X. So every next C encountered, you will be deleting one X from the stack. So this X will be deleted, stack now remains likewise. Next C, for this X will be deleted, stack will be containing only Z0. Next input symbol is epsilon. Stack is in the initialized condition. So this is accepting condition. Go to final state. Take a minute. You may try 3 BDB pairs and either 3 Cs or 2 Cs, and try to trace the same example. Now during analysis, we have said that there must be a dedicated path for BDB. So correspondingly in the diagram you are having, should I draw? Let us draw it. So let me share again my screen so that I can switch in between the Word file and Excel file. So I hope this Excel file is now visible, and we will start with Q0. For the next example, as the initial state, this is our Q0. What we want? BDB as the dedicated path. Once you draw this sincerely for say first 5 programs, so you will find there is no difficulty as such in drawing the diagrams, right? So you can say Q for, let me get the arrows, this for B, D, and then that arc wala type for which we need to flip horizontally. Yes. This is BDB का dedicated path. इसके बाद C will be encountered. So you will say इसके बाद C is there. Is the diagram, let me know whether any change is required. Whether you can add C का loop here. If you add C का loop here for multiple C's, C. This C is belonging to this arrow. B, D, B, then C. Twice B, D, B, B, D, B, then C, C. Now consider as from the start state there is the arrow for C. So whether single C will be accepted. Can this be Q4, the final state? BDB, BDP, C. So as soon as you encounter this B, what we have seen here? Perform no action. For D, perform no action. So B comma Z0, let it be Z0. D comma Z0, let it be Z0. For third symbol B, B comma Z0, add X. So this becomes B comma Z0, let it be Z0. This becomes D comma Z0, let it be Z0. And this becomes B comma Z0, add X as top of the stack. I hope there is no confusion in understanding these things by now. If you have, mics are provided, you should ask if there is any sort of confusion. Then second time BDB is encountered. When second time BDB is encountered, top of the stack will be X and not Z0. So if B is encountered, B first B of second BDB pair, B comma X, let it be X. D second character of second BDB pair, D comma X, let it be X. D comma X, add that x, one more x to top of the previous x. As soon as C is encountered, top of the stack will obviously be x because you are expecting C as the fourth character and not first. If it appears as the first character, top of the stack will obviously be Z0, but we are not defining that transition. So C comma X, what action should be performed? Strike of that X. So insert epsilon to denote pop operation. And for every subsequent C encountered, if you find X is there on top of the stack, delete it. And by the time you reach here, you will find there are no input symbol. Stack is also empty. Let it be empty. Go to final step. This is the ideal case when equal number of BDP pairs and C are encountered. Now consider number of C's are more. So if you have a string B, E, right? So ये this C will be striked off, but you still have this C to be processed. इसके लिए you won't have any X. Rather, top of the stack will be Z0 because stack is empty. इसके लिए आपने stack पे क्या push किया? You have added X. And for this, you have deleted that X. Stack has Z0. So when you process this second wala C, top of the stack is Z0. And Q3 में when you process C, top of the stack Z0 का transition is not defined. Means you are not reaching Q4 final state. You are stuck in Q3. So obviously the string won't be accepted. Similarly, there can be the case wherein you have two BDB pairs. So XX double X is added to stack. And there is only one C. Now for this C, reset क्यों नहीं हो रहा? हाँ. For this C, one X will be removed. So stack contains X. Next symbol is what? Epsilon. So when you are encountering epsilon, top of the stack is X. But that transition is also not defined. When you have epsilon, top of the stack is X. That transition is not defined. So again you are unable to reach final state. So the string won't be accepted. You are adding here only valid transitions so that from the initial state Q0, you should be able to reach the final state Q4. All invalid strings won't follow this, or at least one of them, and will be stuck in the state other than non-final state. Won't be able to reach to final state. So I hope this sum is also understood. In case of any doubt, you should ask. This is the same thing we have constructed in the Excel. Same is copied to Word file. Take a minute, go through the sum. कहाँ से solution start करना है? Listing of valid strings, non-valid strings. Because unless and until you know non-valid string, you won't be able to build the logic to get the valid strings accepted. Then you proceed with some value of n, preferably greater than 1. Have such kind of visualization which aids in defining the transitions, because for each and every input symbol and all possible TOS, top of the stack combinations, you know what should be the related stack operation. ये वाला visualization is only giving you the transition definition. So always have such kind of drawing when you design PDA. ये होने के बाद go for drawing the transition diagram and enlist all possible valid transitions. Highlighting the accepting state is of utmost importance. It carries lot of importance because unless and until you know what will be the accepting state, the processing will be stuck to non-final states. So give utmost importance to accepting state. Not always the accepting state will be this one. For first four, it's the same. It might be different for the very next example. Mics are provided. In case of any doubt, you should ask. So if no doubts, let us proceed to next. Now, two concepts are there. The sums are asked with two types of variations. Sometimes they say design PDA accepting this language using empty stack. Sometimes they say using final state. इसके बाद क्या आ सकता है phrase using empty stack, using final state. So obviously, if it says using final state, you will have visualization or visual representation of final state likewise. So this is PDA to accept the string using final state. But if it says that it is using empty stack, you won't have any final state in your transition diagram. It's for the same sum. See here. Try to capture it in your mind, this one, and then compare it with the PDA to accept string using empty stack. So what part is missing here? Q4 state and the link joining Q3 and Q4. Q4 state final state is missing and this arrow is missing, right? And this type is called as PDA to accept string using empty stack. And as this transition is missing, why we have added, what for we have added this transition? For the case next input symbol is blank cell, stack is empty, so this one is added to Q3 itself. So no final state is in picture. It is accepting using empty stack. Now this is the variation, second type of drawing the transition diagram. Now this fifth sum you need to think upon. And start the solution with the listing of valid strings and non-valid strings. What it says, construct PDA for the language wherein description of language is given as it's the set of all strings over alphabet A comma B. And what are the constraints on the valid word? That exactly twice A's should be there than B's. Exactly twice A's should be there than B's. So try to analyze the sum with the help of valid strings and invalid strings. Take a minute. By that time I'll share the attendance link. Mics are provided. In case of doubt related to the previous sum, you should ask. ये sum का doubt you should not ask. You need to analyze this sum. Previous sum से related doubt है तो you should ask. Attendance link is pasted in chat. It's active. I hope people are actively solving the sum, even if they don't ask any sort of doubt. I assume that the problem is previous problems are been understood, and you are trying your best to solve the problem, fifth wala problem on your. So let us, by now I hope you might have listed the valid and invalid strings. So let me show you that portion. For N123 again, we have listed valid strings exactly twice A's than B. Now here it is not at all mentioned that A should appear first and B should follow A. This string can also begin with B. So see here, BAA is also a valid string. Don't get confused that first only A is allowed to appear. ऐसा नहीं है. Nothing is given regarding the order of alphabets, just the number. So B double A is valid, ABA is valid, double A B is also valid. Whether N is playing any role here? Here you assume N is the value of B. So if B is 1, A will be 2. If B is 2, A will be 4. If B is 3, A will be 6. Or if you wish, you can delete this. As such, N नहीं भी है तो चलेगा. Or you may list for your understanding. नहीं भी लिखा तो भी चलेगा. and then invalid strings. B is appearing more number of times as compared to A, so A double B, B A B. Simply A B equal number of A's and B's are also not allowed, right? Equal number of A's and B's are also not allowed. More B's than A, not allowed. So once you are done with this, you consider a random value of W. Preferably, you should start with the valid W so that you can conclude about the accepting state. Accepting transition definition, what should be the state, whether it should be Q0 itself, Q1, Q2, Q3, and what will be the accepting condition. So if you proceed with the valid W, it will be easier for you to visualize and conclude about the accepting condition and state. So manually if you try to solve, you will find the logic that for two A's, you will add X to the stack, and for a single B, you will add Y to the stack. Now as per the final formal definition of PDA, we have seen that gamma represents finite set of stack symbols. So here X, this Y, and stack initialization Z0 is the finite set of stack symbols. Whereas A comma B is sigma alphabet or summation, which is finite set of input symbols. Input symbols are on the tape, input tape, which has infinite length, whereas stack symbols are added to the stack. Again, you consider the infinite memory is available. It's not at all necessary that input symbols will be same as that of stack symbols. In some of these problems, they are same, as in A, B likewise, but set will always be different because Z0 is a member of gamma and not sigma. Whereas epsilon you add as the member of sigma, and that is also considered to be the member of gamma, because in case of pop operation, how you represent pop operation? By replacing the stack symbol by epsilon. So epsilon is also a symbol on stack. So epsilon appears in sigma as well as gamma, whereas Z0 is a part of gamma, stack initialization symbol. So till this point you have done this sort of analysis, and then comes this visualization part. So we have considered this AB, AAB, B triple A. तो ऐसे ही अगर काउंट करना है, हाउ मेनी बीज आर देयर? 3 बीज आर देयर. A valid string will always have 4 3 B's, 6 A's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 A's are there, total 9 cells. इसके बाद वाला will be empty. So you need to visualize epsilon is there. ये A के बाद वाला is empty cell. So visualize a box is there and epsilon is there. You proceed with the Z0 stack initialization symbol. We have decided for 2 A's push X on stack, for single B push Y on stack. So if single A is there, no action to be performed. Single B is there, y is to be added. This appears to be a single A, but again you will have a dedicated path for AA. So when you reach to this point, you have already made sure that one A is encountered. So now for double A, you have this B on stack. So you need to strike off them. That for double A, B has appeared. And for that reason, you have deleted or popped this Y from top of the stack. So the epsilon is taking Y ka place here. Next, single A is found, no action is performed. Single B is found, Y is added. Single B is found, one more Y is added. Now for these two Y's, you should have encountered two pairs of A's for this string to be valid. When you reach to this A, ये वाले A का double A वाला pair previous A is already encountered here. So when you reach to this, this might be confusing in this such kind of visual representation, but when you draw the transition diagram, you will have a dedicated path for AA. So using that kind of visual representation, you will be sure that when you reach to this A, you have already come across this or you have already encountered this A. So for double A, one of the Y will be deleted. It's been replaced by epsilon. Next you go to this A, single A के लिए nothing is performed, no action is performed. And then next A, a second A from pair AA, you need to strike off one Y, B for that. So this Y is deleted. Next symbol is epsilon. Stack is in initialized position. So this will be your accepting case. So AA का dedicated path कैसे बनाओगे आप? This is A, first A, this is second A. Now in between these two A's, n number of B's can appear. Here also n number of B's can appear. And then this is your accepting condition. So how you will process this string? क्या है ये? A, let us copy. क्या है ये? A B double A B double B. This is A B double A double B. क्या था? A B double B then triple A. Try to process this. ये first वाला A, you will go to Q1. Second वाला B, you will repeat this loop. Third वाला A. See now, when you take when you process this A, third symbol, you have traveled this single A, you have taken this loop and then ये वाला. So this is dedicated path. So when you are traveling this way, you are already sure that you have taken a path for single A, right? And then this fourth symbol A again, this you will end up starting from Q0. So as you are starting from Q0, this is the very first A from, if at all pair of A is there, very first A from that pair. So when you reach to this A, again you will be sure that you have already crossed or taken this path. So already one A is encountered, and now this next wala A from Q1 to Q0 is second A from that pair. I hope you people are understanding this. Then again you land up in Q0 when you process ये seventh wala symbol. This is your eighth wala symbol. Eighth wala A again starts from Q0. So this is the first path you are traveling, and when ninth wala symbol you process, you are already sure that one A is been crossed. So this is the second from the pair. So this will be the PDA. Mics are provided. In case you have any doubt, you should ask. If no doubt, mark your attendance and you can disconnect.